Welcome to another episode of the Evolution of a Man podcast, a show where men get vulnerable. We talk about our ups and our downs, the things that we've been through, but most importantly, we talk about evolving. Today, I have another fire show. I got three new unbelievable guests, three men who've been through ups and downs. They've had triumphs and trials in their life, and they're here to tell their story. I want to start out by introducing each one of them. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves, starting to my right. So,
my name is Euro Mitchell. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a financial service advisor contracted through New York Life.
I'm Johnny Williams. I'm an entrepreneur. I pretty much train and help kids develop, get better mentally, physically.
Okay.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Well, look, I'm Sean Robinson. Of course, I'm a motivational speaker. I also help a lot with community-based events, development, and, entrepreneurship also.
Yep. And I'm your host, Dr. JR. So, guys, thank you for being here. I'm ecstatic. I'm appreciative of you guys taking the time out of your day to come and sit and evolve and talk about things and be vulnerable. And help somebody else, open up and be vulnerable as well. So I want you guys to be unapologetically yourselves. Don't hold anything back. Feel free to express yourself in any way possible. Whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to feel open to, do so. And whatever you don't want to talk about, keep to yourself. So, but no, again, I appreciate you guys for being here. So, UJ, Johnny, Sean, let's have an amazing show. Okay, so the first question I want to get down to and I want to ask is, a lot of us men, we struggle with depression, right? But we hide it so well. And sometimes we don't even know we're depressed. So can you guys tell me, starting with you, what are some of the signs of depression in men?
I think, wow, good question. Short fused, distance, being shut down, and believe it or not, high sex drive. For sure. And I know that through a personal experience. So
right.
I'm speaking something that I actually lived through. So I struggled with depression at one point in my life, as well as anxiety. So they like sisters and brothers.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know this about me. So it's kind of, I'm to the point that now I can really, talk about it.
Right.
Because I think God gracefully broke me.
Right.
And repaired me to be able to, help other men that actually been through it. So
yeah, that's dope. So when you, let me ask you something, when you say sex, so you feel like pleasure.
I'm just being
I'm just saying pleasure. So if I'm depressed, that means I don't want to have more sex.
Because you're suppressing it, so you're you're getting an outlet. So like some people may go work out to the gym, some people may go hoop, but how it depends on how deep you are in your depression.
Right, for sure.
So you may just try to get that energy out by your old lady, your wife, or whatever the case may be. But I had to deep dive and tap into self to understand that. So.
And you saying that now makes me think about I was depressed.
Yeah, because people,
I think good though. It felt good.
People, man, depression is a topic. It's so much ignorance around the topic, right? Because I think most people have dealt with depression. They just don't know what it is.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? But thankfully, I have a great partner that I do life with, which is my wife. That's the love of my life.
Yeah.
Without God and her, I am nothing. Yeah. So, she helped me, and she was just there, man. And I love her forever for that, man. I'm so thankful for that woman, man. Yeah. Shout out to my wife. If you watching this, I ain't nothing without her, bro. Yeah. Just keep it a book.
So to answer that, to piggyback off some of what he said, Johnny, I mean, what does depression look like in me, and what are some of the signs that you may have noticed in somebody else or in yourself that you may have said, I'm depressed, or they may be depressed?
Hey, some of the stuff a lot of stuff he said was like some of the stuff that I think of when I think of depression. But to me, depression is so subtle, man. It's sneaky. To me, for men, most of the time, depression is subconsciously. You don't even know that you depressed most of the time. But in your actions, a lot of it comes with isolation. So, you try to, because as a man, you don't like to show your weaknesses. You don't like to show that you're vulnerable. So guess what you're going to do? You're going to kind of hide it in different ways. And that's why when he said, having a high sex drive, that's definitely a
real.
part of it.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you connected for that little while that you connected. You know what I mean? So you're gonna try to turn to something that may not be good for you. I mean, sometimes it can be good for you, depending on
good to you.
good to you. You know what I mean? But it's all about what setting you do it in.
Right.
Man, I know personally, I probably went through stints of being depressed.
Right.
And then, like I said, subconsciously you don't know sometimes. So then when you look back, just like you just did, look back like, dang, man, I probably was depressed.
Yeah.
But then you can't see it sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being angry all the time about things. That's really a part of it to me, you know. So yeah, that's how I see depression, man. You know, it can be a powerful thing, but if you don't get a hold of it, but a lot of times we don't like to share it. Like I said, you won't know.
Yeah.
You know, you won't even, try to deal with it or anything because most people not gonna ask you, are you okay for real? Like, are you
that
really
was my
okay?
biggest part, bro. Being vulnerable and having a partner to be like, something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? And it got so bad with me, man. I wasn't even eating. Like I was just, and I had to just, like he said, there's a lot of subconscious stuff. I like to call it the inner child.
Yeah.
So you have to really tap into your inner child and lead him back to safety. And then that ultimately calms your nervous system. To let everything know that you're, that you're back safe and all that type stuff, man. But I can go on and on about it. But man, thank God for my wife, bro. I'm telling you, I would have held that forever.
It's uncomfortable though.
Yeah. Sean, what you got to say to that?
Man, just to piggyback off of both of them, it's just like with the depression, I didn't really understand that I was depressed until I got older. I didn't understand what those actual feelings meant.
Yeah.
Because when it came down to emotional standing, it wasn't like as a young man I was taught what those meant or how to be able to evolve, act, or move in them.
Right.
So it was just like, I just thought that I'm just feeling off.
Yeah.
Or it's just like, well, this situation a little crazy, that's why I'm feeling this way.
Yeah.
But like he was saying, I just like, kind of hid it in sexual engagements. You know, I was a person to where, as we talked about before personally, it's just like when it came down to certain things, especially with women, I wasn't real big on the relationship because I never knew how to communicate.
Yeah.
So when it came down to that, when I got depressed, anything like that, I just used that energy as far as within that. So it was easy for me to be like, okay, well, I don't have to have no conversation. If you're mad about this, I don't have to even communicate nor debate with you. I can go right here, don't have to do none of that.
Yeah.
So I was kind of misguiding myself in my midst of depression. And then plus I was a young man that was carrying a lot of stuff at that time. And that would led me to what I do today though. But man, when I was finally looking at it and identifying what I was depressed about and what depression actually was, it made me understand myself more.
Yeah.
That's good because I'm sorry, Josh, but I was gonna ask both of you guys, what did y'all feel stem your depression or your struggle, whatever that you went through? Have you was able to self-diagnose and know what caused it?
To be like totally honest, man, it's probably a lack of appreciation.
Wow.
Just to be honest, like when I really look at it and I look back and I be like, man, like why?
That was good though.
Why am I feeling depressed? Like why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? And then you probably won't even, like I say, you won't even call it depression or anything. Like most of the time, like I say, you ain't noticed till you got older that it was depression because it's a subconscious thing.
Yeah.
But most of it to me is the appreciation from the people that I feel like I was so grateful to or I gave so much to. When you're not being appreciated by those people, you know what I'm saying, it can subconsciously, no matter how much success you have, and you can have a lot of success, but if you're not getting the love, the appreciation, and those people being grateful for the things that you're doing, then it's gonna depress you, man.
And you know what's so crazy? The kind of, I'm gonna chime in. I had a guest on the show last week named Pinkbeard. I'm pretty sure y'all know him. He's a Grammy Award-winning artist, singer-songwriter. And one of the lyrics in his song, he said his grandma said it's better being seen than viewed. So a lot of times we're viewed, but we're not seen. And the caveat to that is that people don't. Like I got a homeboy, for instance, when I went around him and his mom would always say positive things to him. She would always give him positive reinforcement. No matter what he did, no matter how he did it, she would always encourage him that he can do better. And I realized, me and him had a conversation about depression. He was like, bro, he said, man, I'm 38 years old at the time. He was like, man, but I hear my mom's voice. Because when I was little, you know, depression can start from when you're an adolescent.
Exactly.
But he said, when I was little, I used to always hear my mama say, you're smart, you're brilliant, you're handsome, you got all the talent in the world, you can get through this. Or don't worry about it, it's gonna be fine, just keep going. And he said that stuck with him in his adulthood.
That's beautiful.
And it helped him through his depression because he can hear his mom. And a lot of times, as men, we don't have those reaffirming voices. You see what I'm saying? Because everybody looks at us and says, okay, we got it all together. They see the external, but a lot of times they don't realize when we're breaking because we don't even know when we're breaking. But like you said, somebody was like, well, when you're in a car accident, you have to get outside of the car to assess the damages, right? So it's not until somebody can look outside of you or be outside of the situation to give you some feedback. Because sometimes people don't know they're going through stuff. They don't know, but somebody's on the other side. You got somebody close to you. They looking at you. They knowing your habits. They're studying your behavior. And then they say sometimes depression can come out in junkiness, the way you keep your space.
And
It can come out in overeating. It can come out in drinking. Not wanting to shower.
Yeah,
man.
That's another one.
Man.
So
That's
depression can come out in a lot of different ways that we just be like, man, we just be like,
I stopped shaving.
so
My hair had got so long.
But you know what? That's so true what you're saying,
that's a
because
fact.
I told my homeboy this a few months back. I said, man, I said, bro, I said, if you ever see, you know, like my car, or like the inside of my car, and you see my inside, and you see stuff, like, bro, I'm probably depressed.
Yeah,
That's
you know what I'm saying? Like, especially like after, you know, just losing my sister like 20, I was just like, man, you know, because it'll make you numb for real. But then, you know, you won't keep things as clean as you would because you'll stop caring about the stuff that you used to care about. The little bitty stuff like that, that's what make you, if you really pay attention to the people that you around, you can tell sometimes. Like, you can know, like, dang, something ain't right. Something not going on.
Because sometimes you'll pick up the phone and be like, hey, bro, you straight?
Yeah.
You know, they will get distant. Like you said, we'll get distant.
But some people, man, because I wasn't even accepting phone calls. Like, I was in a place,
I see
bro.
texts and
Isolation.
But isolation, bro. And to the point, man, my daughter, man, I was going through it. My daughter, honestly, mine started when my daughter went to college. We were really close. And what I learned through that situation is my life was routine. So every day I got off work, I meet her at Hoover High School. We train.
Yeah.
That was my outlet. That was my fix.
Yeah.
And I wasn't aware of it until I went back and diagnosed. But my root of depression really came through not walking in my purpose.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is getting up, going to a job every day that you hate. Bro, just think about how draining that is when you know your calling is greater. You know what I'm saying? So what I learned, like, through my daughter, I enjoy helping people. So I started picking up clients, training clients, but getting into the industry I'm in now, which is financial services, I help people every day, bro. It's like a walking ministry, literally. Because I may be talking to you about insurance, but you may, because I'm very personable, so you may open up to me about your sister, for example. Bro, I may lay hands on you and pray on you before I leave, and I've supposed been coming to talk to you about insurance.
Right.
But that's just how God uses people, man. So
what you got to say there?
I think with a lot of my depression too was self-inflicted due to my excess of processing what I was going through. I had to think about that, is that even dealing with death, I lost my grandmother and brother within the same year. And, you know, I had other siblings which have lost their grandparents and things like that, but I always had to be the one to kind of be there. So, and keep in mind, I'm in high school with a daughter. You know, I'm moving around, I'm doing things, I'm in the streets, a lot of stuff that I'm not proud of, but it still made me me. So I never had a chance to grieve any of that.
Yeah.
You know, my depression spawned from, you know, I'm thinking that people are going to react and do me the way that I do them.
Yeah.
As far as with me sacrificing and doing this and overextending.
Yeah.
And when I didn't receive that, it was like, you know what I'm saying? It was crushing, but at the end of the day, I can only expect so much from someone.
Right.
But like a lot of my things will come from self-reassurance I never had. I had to be able to create that for myself. You know what I'm saying? Because as a young man, I had to develop mentally and emotionally fast, and I skipped spots on the emotion trying to get closer to the finances. Because I looked at the finances that meant more than my health, and that's physical and mental and spiritual health. So it was so much that came in the point to make my depression so deep and hang on me to the point that I was functioning through the depression.
Yeah, he was a functioning depression.
Yeah, so it was just like, that's why it was harder for me to identify, because even my isolating moments, I lied to myself like they were thinking, Mom, I need to get away from everyone so I could think or I could process this.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? I'm running away from the emotional aspect with these multiple women. They're just like, oh, but shit, that ain't my girl, so I don't have to worry about that. So I'm making excuses for myself every time in the process. And I'm redirecting it, and I am having no accountability. I didn't have accountability, man, until I was in my mid-20s. And that's when I started having more accountability, even as a father, bro. My early years as a father, terrible. Me and my daughter didn't have a relationship. My son and my daughter are only 4 years apart. You know, I had my daughter in 2004 and my son in 2008.
Yeah.
I ran the streets, sold dope, and had a lot of women. Never did you hear me mention I was a good father in any of that.
Yeah.
So I was present to a degree. I go to some games or I do this. When I started working and I was actually holding a job, that's when my depression showed up started sitting in. First of all, I wasn't good with authority, first of all. Until I became an authority figure. Then I had to redo the game, because now it's not about me. It's about how can I make my children life better. Now I'm trying to compensate financially for time that I missed physically.
That's good.
So there was a lot of things that I was processing and stuff at the time on the mix of that. I'm the man of the family now. My great-grandfather has passed. Now my family's looking at me. I'm getting a call from my mom and from my brothers and from my sisters. And I'm the one now.
I'm the one too.
Bro, when I tell you,
a lot of us the one that
I couldn't process it.
I think all
couldn't
of us,
process it.
I can just tell by everybody's spirit that we the ones.
My mom, my two sisters, my nieces, I'm the only man. You feel me? And when you know, like it was one situation where my niece got into it with her guy, and he, you know, physically, you know, tried to do something to her. And I felt like I needed to stand up for her. I needed to protect her. You know what I'm saying? And we don't talk about that burden as men, like being the strong man for your family, your extended family, you know, being the step, or not just the step, but the father of the family, so to speak, the authoritative figure, and the protector, the muscle, you know, the wisdom, and still having to manage your own life at the same time. So it's like they don't understand like how stretched.
Right.
Sometimes people don't understand how stretched emotionally, physically, financially men can get, and trying to be in 3 or 4 places at one time is tough.
Now think about it though. In the same breath though, are we communicating it? A lot of times we don't. We might reflect it in action.
The question is it available for us to?
This is why one of y'all said unappreciated. Which one? This is why I share those exact sentiments, right? Is because people will look at you. They will see you going 14, 15 hours a day. They will see you go here, drop this off, pick this up, take this, gotta pay bills, and they won't look at you and say, hey, let me take some of that off your plate. So yes, it's this quiet resentment that men build because you just expect me to just keep doing this, but you ain't trying to help me at all, or you're not even offering to take some of this off my plate. So men do build up that quiet resentment, And it's not anything personal. It's just like, come on, man. Like, I'm just one person. Like, I what if I got a family? What if I got kids? What if I got a girl? What if I got things where I'm not available? And that's when I started to realize, like, go back to what you said, spiritual, God. You have to trust God to take care of them.
Yeah.
Because if you make it, if you say, hey, I gotta be the sacrificial lamb for everybody else, you're in fear that something's going to happen because you're not there. So sometimes you have to trust God and say, God, I got him. I can take this anxiety and this fear of trying to fix everything. I can take that and put that in my back pocket and know that, man, it's the universe. It's God. It's spiritual. What we talking about is sometimes we don't realize as men too, and we do this with our daughters, our girlfriends, our mamas, our sisters. Sometimes we're enablers.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes
For sure.
Sometimes they'll keep depending on us for the same things. And instead of them trying to correct and fix their problems, they'll just be like, well, I got him. I got UJ, I got Johnny, I got Sean. You see what I'm saying? And they'll keep relying on that because they know you gonna rise up to the occasion. But they don't realize how much it's costing you. And that's the thing where men get to a point where, we do just check out sometimes.
And man, I'm just have to be honest, man. A lot of this stuff do be our fault though, man. Like what I'm saying is this, man. Like, of course, we go through a lot of things from the time that we're young little kids to our adolescents, young adults, to our 30s. A lot of the situations that we go through, it comes from just us being disobedient as men. Once we do have the knowledge, once we understand what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing, what we should hold on to, what we should let go. A lot of our depression comes from us just being disobedient because everything starts from a spiritual aspect first. It goes from the spiritual, then it goes to what? The natural. You know what I mean? But a lot of times it starts from us being great men, because I can look at you guys and know that y'all great men. Me and Josh, best friends growing up. So we spent a lot of time in, him at my house, and that type of a lot of stuff. So what I'm saying is, man, a lot of stuff stems from us. Once we get that knowledge, what are we doing with the knowledge that we have?
But who's helping us though?
But this is what I'm saying. Who's helping us? Who's guiding us? Is some of the people that's close to us, just like a friend. Because sometimes me and you can attest to this. It's been times where I've told friends that was close to us, that me and like, hey, you probably shouldn't be doing this. This probably can help you out with this and that.
Right.
But sometimes it's hard for people to receive from people that's cold. They don't listen until they act. Some people are just they just are reactors. They don't take the information and say, you know what, let me store this information and then let me use this information as a guide. You get what I'm saying? But once we start getting that information, what are we doing with that information? And I feel like that's what's draining us. That's what's making us
not paying attention to the info.
You know what I mean? That's making us feel less than who we are. You know what I mean? And then it's stretching us. It's, how man, I'm just like me. I got two sisters, that grew up in my household. My mom, me. I had to be the man. It's so much that I had to do. My older sister was, still playing with toys, and I'm already moving around. You know what I mean? And trying to make money, doing, so I can protect, so I can help them out. But once I got older, even I remember being in a relationship with a girl, and she just telling me like, man, at some point, John, you gotta let them go. And I didn't understand that till afterwards. And it wasn't really like, oh, just let them go, just let them, but just saying, let go the burden. Stop trying to do God's part.
That's right.
At some point, as men, we can't. You gotta understand, we can't do God's part, man. And then the other thing is, we gotta stop okaying things that God won't even. We gotta allow people to have the free will. Do God interrupt that free will?
No.
No,
Exactly, but guess what we do? We jump right in. Let me save you. Let me save you.
Yeah, that's
if you see your mother, as much as you love your mother, if you see your mother keep dating the same men over and over and putting y'all in the hole, and then you got to come back and save.
You know what? It's crazy that you say, and I'm going to press the button on what you just said. So we gonna talk about.
He fit the segue.
Yeah, we're gonna say it because that's a good entry point. What you just said. How much of an I'm gonna ask you this first. We're gonna start with Sean. How much of an impact does your mother, as a man, does your mother have on you emotionally, spiritually, and was your mother, the relationship you have with your mother, does it affect you as a man, and did it affect how you treat women?
I would have to say definitely. Let me speak about me and my mom relationship now. Me and my mom pretty much speak almost every day now.
Right.
And it was several years. Me and my mom didn't have a conversation at all, text message, phone call, none of that. And I learned that it was only tearing me down as a man. And it's hard for me to have a communication with, my spouse or my daughter or anything if I didn't mend that with my mom. So, with my mom, me and her stuff talk now. She's a very big supporter. I love my mother to death, man. I learned the streets from my mom. My mom a bootleg. First time I ever seen something get sacked up, I learned it. My mom was in the streets, so I didn't have that, oh son, you can do it. I had a, hey, we're gonna make this money, mama. You know what I'm saying? I was physically abused and stuff coming up and stuff too. I fought a lot. So that was my outlet and stuff. So my method of communication was physical confrontation. That's how I talk. Right. And when it came down to selling dope, I was good at it. I was smart. I was orchestrated. I know how to move because I watched her move. And this is not glorifying the streets in any way, but this is the mother that I had. My mama had me when she was 14. So it was a child raising a child. Me and my mama grew up like brothers and sisters versus mother and son. The way we communicate, I never disrespect her. I always respected her, even though I might not have respected some of her habits, ways, thoughts, or ideology. That's still my mom. Yeah. So when it comes down to certain things and stuff like that, my aggression I learned from her. When it came down to women, I'm going to say I had a disrespect for women due to how I handled them because I didn't look at them as expendable, but I also didn't look at them as an asset. And that hindered me from actually having a healthy relationship with any woman early in my days.
That's good, bro.
Because I was so used to having a woman as a resource versus a partner. Yeah. So at some point, the emotional aspect was expendable. Yeah. And no woman I ever talked to lasted over 2 years, not because it couldn't last, but because I set it up for that. Yeah. I don't need to have too much invested in you. So if something was to happen, you're not finna have me breaking down, drinking Hennessy in the corner, listening to Lenny Williams. You know what I'm saying? So, but this was because I was scared of the emotional connection. I watched my mom fight her boyfriend every day. Sometimes she won, sometimes she didn't. I've actually had stabbed my mom's boyfriend because they was fighting to the point to where she was getting on. So aggression and acting out in that manner has been something I have grew up around. I grew up in Rosedale. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And Rosedale, according to Tuscaloosa. So my upbringing was a tad bit different. That's why when I talk to the children now and what I do, it ain't me just talking to them as, oh man, I was one of you. You lived it. I was one of you. Yeah. So, I know how I feel. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? To heat your living room up with a kerosene. Right. Yeah. I know how that feel. I watched my mama do this. I had watched her struggle, but also it let me know where I wanted to be and where I didn't want to be. And as I got older, me and my mother's relationship got better. Me and my mama sat down and cried together about things that have happened. Yeah. But it was just like, I told her that I don't blame you for anything. Yeah. You did what you thought was the best with what information you had. Yeah. With the resources that you had. Yeah. I never made my mama feel less than because of anything that we had went through together. Yeah. So I always put that on there. And as I gotten older, it's easier for me to talk to people in those situations. Yeah. Because this is the first time I ever even spoke about this. As many podcast interviews, shows I done been on, this is the first time I ever spoke on this in this aspect. Yeah. And I had my mom blessed, and I always talked to her prior to it. Yeah. So this was something that this platform is designed for that. Yeah. And that was going to be the most open forum and stuff of it. Yeah. So yeah, me and my mom, we definitely had a complex relationship, but that's my dog. I love her to death. And even to this day, she's highly supportive. She communicates herself all the time. And I'm just glad that I prayed enough over my hurt and misguiding to be able to get that relationship from my mom before I no longer had her. Because I done watched my mom bury her mom and her mom's mom, and had to be there for those transitions.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, well, EJ, I'm gonna give it to you because I want to. How do you? I mean, your mom.
Okay.
Right, the relationship and you're developing as a man and how you treat women, how you see women. You know, you got married, you've been married for a minute. But how did the role of your mother, how did she play a factor into how you see women and your emotional development?
Actually, you know, thinking back, I had a lot of time to reflect as he was talking. So, man, my mama she was a strong black woman, man. Single mom. It was me and my sister. At the time, we were poor. I ain't gonna say poor. Well, I guess so.
But you had some Jordans in high school.
But see, this is the thing. I didn't know we struggled financially until I got older.
Yeah.
Because it didn't feel like it. You know what I'm saying? Because I had all the J's, like he right. I used to be fresh every day. So I didn't know, man. It was one day I was older, I was driving, I believe, and she was like, hey, go pay this bill. And I went and paid up. It was a little long check cash in place.
Yeah.
And when I paid it, they gave me the slip. You know, this is before technology. You can pay it on the phone and stuff. And I seen the remaining balance. And I'm like, damn, that's what, you know, and it all clicked, bro. And it broke me down in tears because my mom did the best she could. But as we all know, man, when you got an alpha male growing up in the house, you need a man somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, and my dad, he was around, but, you know, they had split or whatever the case may be. I spent a lot of time at my grandma's house and I would see kind of like my dad in passing and stuff like that. But she did the absolute best she could. But, you know, the streets started to raise very similar to your story. You know,
I know the crew.
Yeah.
I know
so the streets, man, and I can remember days, man. I remember, you know, selling drugs, dope. I remember one time, man, I caught myself hiding my dope in the barbecue grill. Mama ain't cooked in weeks. When I sat on a grill, pop the grill open, and there go all my stuff. My sister texted me, hey, mama done found all your stuff. She wants you to get out, woo. Well, man, I get home, I'm lying, it ain't mine, all that type of stuff, man. My mama laid hands on me and prayed, man, and the power that woman, when she touched me and prayed, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And from that day forward, man, she always made me go to church and stuff like that growing up. But at the time, I didn't really understand it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't lived enough to understand what was going on. I heard it, but those seeds was planted, bro. And believe it or not, them seeds get in you, man, and they start to, start to grow and flourish. But man, my mama, basically, I ran the streets, and my mama prayers went where she couldn't go.
Yeah.
I was always protected. There's so many times I should have been dead. A lot of times I should have been in jail.
Yeah.
And, you know,
that's good.
It's I know it was my mom.
Yeah.
I know it, man. And based on how she, you know, how I view women based on her, it's funny you say that because my wife, when we were dating, I was still living with my mom at the time. She would come in the house. She would just start folding my clothes, just organizing everything, just qualities. She'd ask me stuff like you ate. She made me feel like my mom. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, she might be the one. Am I ready to hang this up? You know what I'm saying?
And see, this is what a lot of people, and I'm sorry to cut you
No,
off.
you good. You good.
And like he said, sometimes you have to forgive your mother, right? And the reason why I say that is because we don't know what our mothers had to go through.
Exactly. We don't.
So a lot of times we only see them mothering us in a way where if we don't feel because what kids do is we compare, right? You ever had a cousin and they mama let them stay out later than your mama and they mama was nice and you felt like your mama was mean, and it was like, we don't realize that a lot of our mamas growing up in the 50s and 60s, they had it hard. You see what I'm saying? My mom is the youngest of 7, 8. 8, she was the youngest. So by the time they got to her, she didn't get a lot of love, attention, and affection. They were burnt out. You know what I'm saying? They burnt out from the past 7. So what do you think happens? A lot of women, they go out back then, you know what I'm saying? They go out, they find a man. Most men back then were abusive. Most men back then were narcissists, right? You do as I say.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Y'all saw what love got to do. Y'all saw Ike Turner. Y'all saw how Ike Turner got down. You feel me?
Yeah.
So when I look at my mom, she was in a lot of abusive relationships.
Right.
And I was so mad at her for the longest time, bro, because I'm like, why don't you say nice things? Or why don't you just hug me out the blue? Why don't you kiss me? Why don't you hold me? Why don't you, you know what I'm saying? And I realized as I got older, she didn't have the capacity to, because she never was shown that.
Exactly.
So a lot of the times we blame our parents for this idea of who we want, our mother especially, because that's the first time we expect nurturing. And we blame our moms for not being that nurturer, but it's like, we don't really dive into what she had to endure growing up. And so I had to forget. It was a lot of years, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, one time that me and him got close, I was 16 years old, I think, when I came and stayed with him. Me and my mom had one of the biggest falling outs ever. And God bless his mom. She just so sweet. She's a joy. I love her to this day. She allowed me, and your dad, they allowed me to come stay there. And I had to leave the house. And he'll tell you. You know what I'm saying? I didn't speak to my mom for 6 months, 6 months at that time. I was 16 years old because I felt like she was hard. And that's the thing. A lot of parents are rule heavy, but they don't show the emotion behind it. Like if I whoop you and I love you, I'm going to tell you why I'm doing it while I'm whooping you. You see what I'm saying? And then after I whoop you, I'm going to console you. But if you whoop a child and you just leave them to think and feel however they want to feel, they're going to start building resentment.
See, that's key, because if you're not careful with your parenting, you can become your child's first enemy.
Exactly.
So you have to be very careful, because I almost did that very same thing with my son. He's 6 years old, and my dad was hard on me. I kind of got that side from kind of like my dad, and I didn't understand it until I got old and became a man, and I saw myself almost doing the same thing to my son, and I had to self-reflect and be like, damn, he may be feeling like how you was feeling towards your father. And to your point, I had to go back and have a conversation with my dad to heal that inner child again, to be able to love my son and lead my family the proper way.
Yeah, and that's the thing. What do you do when, like you said, your mom and going through, men and relationships and watching these men disrespect, abuse, disregard your mother? What do you think? She's an emotional creature. What do you think she's going to develop into? She's not going to be the best mother. She's not going to have the best outlook on motherhood, especially if she's struggling financially. She's going through relational issues. She got to deal with your rearing and helping you develop as a young boy. She's gonna, and a lot of mamas have to work. So think about them coming home and then got to deal with you in your school, and it's a lot, and they just don't have the time nor the capacity to deal with it. Bro. So as my mom as she gets older, she gets a little bit more softer.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The ass whooping she used to give us, her grandbabies ain't eating.
Oh no,
her grandbabies ain't eating.
The grandkid is a golden. The grandkid is a golden. Yeah. But I what y'all said, all that makes sense, man, and all that kind of, I understand that wholeheartedly, man. And my mom is probably the greatest, like, human that I know. As far as from a good stock, as far as like love wise, you know what I'm saying. But my mom, she dropped the ball sometimes too. But I'm gonna tell you something. See, one thing that helped me early is I already understood like a lot of stuff early, right? And that came from the love that my mom gave me. Yes. You know what I mean? It was time my mom used to choose. I used to hate some of the men my mom used to choose. Just like with you, I tried to stab one of my mom. Like literally, like I'm on all that type of time. Cause I'm the only boy, I'm reckless. I'm reckless when it comes to them. So, but one thing my mom did, I remember my mom, she got into it with this guy. He was in the Army, you know what I mean? Back then, I remember his name and everything. I was like, I couldn't stand him. If I seen him, I said, I saw him, I'm gonna do something.
Smoke now.
I tried to hit him. I tried to hit him with a hot sauce bottle before.
Dude.
But it's so crazy. But I remember a situation where she had gotten into it with him. And then I remember her bringing me in. She ain't bring my sisters in. She ain't bring none of them in. She brought me in. Brought me in her room. She had the candles lit. Had the word out. And she said she had some oil and she anointed me pretty much. She was like, son, I know you seeing some stuff. You know what I mean? But I want to let you know that that's not how you treat women. See, she helped me to see that, hey, son, just because somebody is doing it, because she understood I'm just a child. This some of the first examples that I'm getting of men. You know what I mean? Besides my dad, my mom and my dad split early. You know what I'm saying? My mom and my dad was married when they had me, but they went through things and they eventually got divorced when, you know, I was like 8 years old. But before then, he was already, you know what I'm saying, out the house. So my early experience with seeing men with women was, you know, my mom and with, you know, my aunties, you know, and my mom, she just said, I'd never forget that day, man. She I remember where I was on Tuscaloosa Avenue, West End. And my mom was just like, I don't want you to take what he did and, you know, think that it's right to do. You know, you don't yell at women. You talk to them in the right manner. You treat them the proper way. And then that let me know that I should just do the opposite of what all these niggas doing. I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? But just straight up, just to be honest, let me do the opposite of what these niggas doing. Because I hate what these niggas doing. You get what I'm saying? And I grew up around some real, I'm in that house. I grew up in the house. My uncles selling dope. Everybody doing what they doing. You get what I'm saying? But my mama always shielded me. She covered me. She always brought me back and was like, hey, I'm doing this and this going on, but I don't want you to see that this is the path. This is the right way. This isn't right. See, and I think that's the difference from even hearing y'all stories. Was something that my mom, that I have to tip my hat to my mom for that.
That's solid.
Because my mom, even though she knew, she might not knew how to actually put it in action properly, but she knew she needed to give me the word to do so. And so that's one of the things that she did. She was like, hey, son, I don't want you to do these things. You know what I mean? And I grew up around real pimps, I'm talking about real pimps. Like y'all laughing, man. Y'all laughing, but I really grew up around a pimp named Earl. I really grew up around these type people that really, I'm sitting here talking to them about girls, you know, and to get to the other part of your question, you know, how that shaped how I see women. You know, that kindness that my mom had shaped me to treat women a certain way.
So let me ask you this. Let's say this. So let me turn the ship a little bit. Now I know that all of us at this table, and we can be transparent, have either been a stepfather, a step boyfriend father, had a stepfather, you know what I'm saying, or fathering children that wasn't ours, or being a product of a stepdad. Some of the most prestigious men in society had a stepfather. Shaq had a stepfather. You know what I mean? LeBron, I don't know if he had a stepfather, but his father went around. He had somebody.
Somebody came through that.
So society gives stepfathers a bad name. You have a epidemic of men who says, well, if I go and date a woman who already have kids, then she's worth less than a woman that don't have kids. And you hear how society diminishes women for having 2 or 3 kids by 2 or 3 different men, how men deem that as irresponsible, how they make bad choices in men, and how, you know, they're demonizing them by saying, well, why didn't it work out with these men that you had kids with? So society is almost putting an asterisk on these women for having kids by different men and expecting men who don't have kids or who may have kids but may not want to take on another man's child. I'm a product of a man coming in And it was 3 of us. My mom was a single mother of 3. And my stepfather passed away in 2015, God rest his soul. An amazing man, a hard worker, worked in the coal mines. And when he passed, I took it so hard because I did not respect him as much as I should. I did not hold him in high regards, and I did not recognize the sacrifices and what he was doing to come in and take on a woman who had 3 kids by 3 different men. And when you think about that in today's time, that's blasphemous. What the hell you doing dating a woman that got 3 kids by 3 different men? You feel me? But he came in and he never hit my mom. I never heard him scream at my mom. He was an alcoholic. You know, he was been drinking shotgun house. You know what I'm saying? He grew up in, you know, shotgun houses and stuff like that. But he ended up he's transitioned. But when he passed, it was so hard for me to let go of him. And I realized, like, I didn't sit down and talk to him a lot. I didn't sit down because when he got sick in the hospital, I said, hey, when you get well, I'm going to take you to an Atlanta Hawks game, because he was a big sports guy. Watch football, basketball, used to run the football boards. Y'all know that. And he never got well. You see what I'm saying? And I can remember the life, like, as he's, you know, he had heart failure. And I can remember he was like, he couldn't breathe. He was like, I need you to, you know, cut my hair. Like, I could see the life going out of him. So I would literally sit there and cut his hair. And I was cutting his hair one day. He had just had the open heart surgery, and he started spitting up blood. And when he started spitting up blood, I knew something. My sister was like, oh, when you spit up blood, you need to go to the hospital. Go to the hospital. So we took him to the hospital. He didn't come out. He died probably like 2 days later. And he had never been sick. I'd never seen him in the hospital, never seen him in that state that I saw him in. And as he was passing away, I started to realize, like, how influential he was in my life and how much of a man he was to see a woman who had 3 kids and step in and love her correctly, love us correctly, and just make that sacrifice and step up in our lives. And I feel like stepfathers don't get enough credit, because yes, he could have said, he had other kids, but yes, he could have said, well, I don't want to have to deal with a woman who got 3 kids by 3 different men. I don't know what she's been through. She's probably damaged. She's probably toxic. She probably got all this emotional trauma. But he looked past it. And because he stood on that, he made me and helped cultivate me into the man that I am today. And I took him for granted. I can honestly say I took him for granted. I've been in relationships where, you know, the woman has had kids or have kids, and the little boys and little girls, I always see myself in them. So a lot of the times when I'm dealing with them or talking to them or encouraging them, you know, I know what it's like to not have your real dad. You see what I'm saying? I know what it's like to hide that anger and have that little resentment. So now another man who's not your father coming into your house telling you what to do, telling you how to act, telling you what not to do. And you sitting up here looking at it like, and it was one time I bucked at him. You know what I'm saying? I told him, I said, hey man, don't talk to me like that. You know, you ain't my daddy. And he looked at me and he said, I'll bust your damn brains out. No lie. He looked at me and said that. And when he said it, because he was always mild-mannered, when he said it, something gripped me. And I was just like, I ain't think you were gonna go there. You know what I'm saying?
He just might bust your
But I respected it. And I understood it. So fast forward, I don't mind dating and being with women with kids. Because let me say this, and I'm gonna pass it off. People talk about women who have children, but those women, those single mothers, they be some of the most solid women. Because they've been through something. So they're not expecting that their fairy tale has already been broken. You see what I'm saying? Now they know how to appreciate a man better because of what they went through. The fact that they have to sacrifice for these children or sacrifice for their child every single day, and now they meet a man to step up and step in. Now, some women, they children don't respect nobody. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. Some women, they children gonna be disrespectful to the end. But the women that have been through something, had relationships, had kids with other men, looking for love, they're looking for somebody to come in and partner with them on helping them because they see the value of raising this girl, raising this little boy. They need an example. So when a single woman sees that, she has more of an appreciation for a guy who's willing to come in and step in and play that role. And that's why I've dated women with no kids and I've dated women with kids. The women with no kids, they didn't have a lot of empathy. They were all about themselves because they didn't have anything. It was all about them. They didn't have kids. They didn't know. They was always available. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she available, but that may be sometimes a good and bad thing. But I saw the strength of women who already had kids, and I knew that they were more structured, they were more disciplined because they had somebody outside of their self that they had to sacrifice for every day. And that's what I feel like single moms make better partners to me than women with no children. Go ahead.
There's a lot to say though. I mean,
to me, I'm just saying to me.
I respect it though. I respect it wholeheartedly. But just like me, I grew up. My stepdaddy came in. My mom already had 3 kids. Yeah. And he was young. Jack was young, but Jack, that was my dog. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was a great man. Right. So, and just like you, some stuff I probably didn't appreciate, but. As time went on, I was like, man, this man, solid. He showed me a lot, man. He showed me how it is to take a family from nothing, go from projects to a house showing all this, like just go always elevating up. Yeah. Take care of your yard. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, you know how Jack was. But the thing is, sometimes I did have certain resentment, and I don't even think it was because of him. It was probably from my own dad, though. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's like, dang, bro, you dropped the ball, big dog. Yeah. That's how I'm thinking. Like, man, like, and I can say this real quick because I don't want to hold it too long, but I remember, like, and I probably never said this like in public, but my dad and my mom were separated for a while. My mom still had room for my dad, like waiting on my dad. Mm-hmm. And I remember one day, you know what I mean? I probably was like in the 5th grade, 6th grade. Yeah. And my dad came, he was like, man, you know what? I wrote your mom a letter. I think I'm gonna try to make it right now. So I'm happy, as a kid, you like, man, my dad and my mom
are working out. Yeah.
Man, it's cool. I'm good. Right. Because it's different just having your dad in the house. Now, for me, it's like, I could breathe a little bit. I don't have to watch after my sister and watch out there. I don't have to do that type of stuff. So I remember it like it was yesterday, man. Me and my dad got me out the car with him. Like, man, my dad got the letter, you know what I'm saying? He get out, I get out. Yeah. So, you walk around the back. If you know anything about the projects, you know what I mean? Usually you'll go in through the back a lot of times. Yeah. So I'm going in through the back. I get up there. I look through the screen though, and there go Jack. Jack in the kitchen, frying chicken, no shirt on. You get what I'm saying? No shirt on.
They're like, baby boy.
So, man, my dad, like, and it's so crazy, you being so young, man, 10, 11 years old. But for me to look at my dad and then see my dad's eyes was just like, and it probably hit me more as I got older, like, dang, and because I remember maybe a few days before that, my mom asked me about Jack, before my dad saying it, she was like, what you think about, Jack or whatever? Like, my mom was really liking him, I can tell. Yeah. She's like, what you think? I was like, man, I kind of like Jack, man. Jack cool, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, when my dad saw Jack, my dad was like, hey, how you doing? Jack was real respectful, like, hey, how you doing? That type of thing. And I'm like,
dad was crushed.
But my dad was crushed. And I'm like, Dad, you gonna, I'm like, you gonna go, what you gonna do? But my dad was like, my dad turned around and he went back to his car and that letter was never given. Wow. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if my mom ever even knew about that. But at that moment, resentment had already started with me and my stepdad because of that moment. You know what I mean? But I
feel like he was the reason your dad.
I feel like he was the reason why, you know what I'm saying, my dad didn't do what he did. But my dad just ain't, you know, as I get older, my dad didn't do what he did because he just didn't do what he did. Yeah. You know, and that's another part what I say, holding ourselves accountable as men. Yeah. But to piggyback on what you were saying about like how, you know, you feel like it's a lot easier to date women with kids. And I agree with you wholeheartedly as far as women with kids have a lot of empathy for you.
They do.
And they reckon, and you know what they do? They take the initiative. Yep. Way better than women that's by themselves and they have a mother. So, because they can see it without you having to say, you know, the biggest thing for us is, like I say, is appreciation. Yeah. And a woman that's going to take the initiative before you have to say something. Yes. But like, you see me working 2 hours. Do you think I want to come home to a meal? Yeah, I want to come home to a meal. Yeah. You know what I mean? I want to come home to something. Yeah. I'm not saying you my slave or, you know, you got to do everything. But I'm just saying, I'm doing what I'm doing without complaining.
And they used to doing it for the kids.
So what I'm saying, when you go with a single woman, you come up, like, I mean, with a woman that don't have no kids, she don't have a peanut butter sandwich sliced in half for you.
She got you a Lunchable.
He said sliced in half.
And the crazy thing is, I think when it comes to women with kids, my biggest problem is my biggest thing, because I don't mind dating a woman with kids, you know, because I'm able to handle it. Right. But I think my biggest thing is how well do they prioritize their time? Yeah. That's my biggest thing. You know what I mean? How well you prioritize your time. And I had a situation where I had with a girl, and I don't know if y'all been in this situation. I don't know, maybe you have, Josh. But my thing is, man, I'll be honest, dog. Yeah. I had to let go of a girl because of her child. Yeah. And that's because, and I can't lie to myself. Yeah. And that's the thing, like, if I can't get along, like, it's not even getting along. I just can feel, like, honestly, I could discern in my spirit that me and this kid, and it hurt me.
Man, I had listen.
She had problem child.
Well, listen, I had a girl.
Hold on, let me say this. Me and this kid won't have anything as far as in common. And I love the kid, but that kid is not equally yoked to me.
Bro,
you know, I can see it in your eyes, bro.
I was dating a girl, bro. I'm sitting on the counter talking to her. All of a sudden, bro, I could have been talking to her probably about a good 2 months, bro. Her kid come from behind. The slap wrapped around my face and hit me in the eye. And she just sitting there looking at him. I'm looking at him and he looking at me. We just staring at each other. I'm like, you gonna really let him just blind the hell out of me like this? And not do nothing? I knew at that moment, bro.
That was it.
I tried to talk to this girl about 2-3 months after that, bro. We just argued the whole time. I said, it's because of your child. I said, I can't do it.
You hate to blame me though, man.
No.
You know,
how you handle your child lets me know everything about you.
Yeah, man.
If you think that that's funny or you think that that's cute, she was walking around him naked. He 8 or 9, she walking around him butt naked. And I'm like, she ain't gonna put on no clothes? Well, he know what I look like.
That's an old school way too. You know, your mama gonna walk around, you know, just like it's old school.
I ain't trying to see no.
But I feel what you're saying, man.
But that's the thing. But go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you this. With those particular aspects too, I learned that just because it was old school doesn't mean it was right to me. It's like a respect for the child. Yeah. And you know, it was a whole nother set of things stuff with that. But what you were saying about the mothers is just like, I've dealt with women who have had children that have did both. I have dealt with women who had, you know, no type of sympathy toward anything and had children, but it also reflected in how they disciplined and communicated with their children, also how they led. Yeah. And I've also had a woman that was, you know, had children, man, and was just so wonderful. Like, she was able to, if I mentioned something to her, she was already checking it out. She was already doing research on it and getting back with me about it. Just very, very open, very creative, very educated, someone that you can have a conversation with, and it exceeded the physical aspect.
Right.
Because, you know, she was already a beautiful woman, but my whole thing is that I was placing her in a situation that I wasn't emotionally and mentally ready for. Right. So I really squandered a good woman due to my inability to step into that position as a man for her.
You got to be ready for that.
You got to be ready for that.
Got to, man.
You know, and you know, and I've my engagement with women has been very unique. It's been very we've been very open, and it's just like understanding where I stand in somebody's life. Let me know how much I want to invest in it, how much do I want to dedicate my time, energy, and my peace to it. Because of disruption that can happen at any time. You know, I came from me and both of my sisters have different fathers. I've never seen a good stepdad, but also the term stepdad is something that I always look at stepdad as a term of inferiority, because what are you stepping on and what are you stepping into? I say bonus. These are my bonus children. My bonus children that I have now, I don't have a good relationship with their father at all. You know, and you know, I pray for them, but at the end of the day, you know, I can't say that I care for him long enough to care about his well-being. I'm just gonna leave it like that. But I never talk bad about him in front of them, because at the end of the day, that's their father. You know, my bonus daughter, she had recently had a photo shoot for her birthday, and you know, I've been around and stuff for a minute, so when she invited her dad to the photo shoot and not me, I can't lie like I didn't feel some type of way, because I did. Because that's my baby, you know, that's my princess. Right. And you know, and I was just like, well, you know, that's what she chose to do. So, you know, it made me feel some type of way, but at the end of the day, that was her decision. I love her way more than the aspect of the decision that she chose. But like, as a bonus dad, you know, you kind of walk on eggshells because you're stuck in between. Am I in a position to discipline them because I'm taking care of them? Because your dad is alive and well, and your mother is here. Man, so now it's just like, are the biological parents going to communicate in order to do disciplinary? Because one thing about me is that I'm not going to negotiate my respect in any way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? My job as a father is to protect, provide, and educate. That's my job as a father. Now, my bonus children are getting more time with me than my biological children, because they're not in the home. My oldest daughter, I already told her, I dropped the ball with her a long time ago. I tried to use finances to be able to make up for time. That did not work. She respected the money she was given, didn't respect the person that was earning it.
That's right. They fall in love with you.
They fall in love with it. And then with my biological son, you know, his name is Jordan. He's a Deshaun. So it's like, and his last name is Robinson, so he's gonna carry that name for me. Me and his mom, we have a great relationship. Her husband now, me and that man can sit down, drink a beer, and watch the game. My son see that, he understand that this can work. But if you ask my daughter that situation, she won't give you the same thing. If you ask my bonus children about a bonus father or a stepdad, they'll tell you, oh, yo, Sean was cool with us. I met the recital, I met the graduation. When my daughter went down there to school, me and her mama loaded up and went down there. We walked in the door when she walked in. But my biggest thing is that it's the dynamic of the relationship and the mindset of the people involved. Because like I said, I could be the biggest blessing to this, or I could be the biggest monster you've seen, you choose. But either way, our presence is going to be known and felt. So how do we want to do this? Because I tiptoe with Saul and Paul every day. Because Paul is the end in development, just like we were talking about on the religious aspect. God doesn't speak to the current you, he speaks to the future you. He was already talking today before he became a king. He was talking to him in the aspect of, you are already a king. So it's certain things that I look into, because like we were talking about with the upbringing, man, it's just like, I had every excuse to be the monster that I wanted to be, but I chose not to. And my great-grandfather had a biggest toll on that. My great-grandfather, he wasn't a stepfather or anything. He had no outside children. All his children in the house was his. But the way that he educated is that before I put this leather on you, we're going to have 2 conversations. The third strike is you. First thing is going to be, I'm going to educate you on why you shouldn't be doing this. Third thing is, I'm going to re-educate you. Second thing is, I'm going to re-educate you. Third thing is, you need to come holler at me. Ain't no discussion, I'm not finna chase you. If I have to chase you, it's gonna be an ugly day. So when it comes down to that dynamic, I think that was the balance that kept me from getting into a lot of things and me processing things differently, especially when seeing a relationship. The healthiest relationship I ever seen was with my great-grandparents. Never seen them argue. I know they're mad at each other though, because they ain't speak much, but there was no arguing.
They ain't let y'all see it.
They ain't let us see it. It was no arguing.
That's solid though.
You know what I'm saying? Even the roles in the house. My great-grandfather cooked, washed dishes, and did all that. Well, my great-grandmother had that determining presence. My great-grandfather died, my great-grandmother didn't know where to go to the pay a bill. We had to go send the bills and stuff out for her. But I said to say this is that if it wasn't for my great-grandfather, I wouldn't have seen what it was like to have a healthy male influence in the home, because I've never seen that.
Right.
Even my friends' fathers, like the closest one I could probably talk about, my cousin CJ and his dad, Mr. Charles. The way that he handled his boys in time was like magnificent. My god pop, Corinthian Ward, you know, I seen him work a lot, sacrifice for that, but he was he worked his way into a position of respect. And I feel like when you are making particular decisions, and if the aspect or the way that the family is running and continuously bringing you down, you need to reevaluate your presence amongst that family. How am I being valued? Yeah. Am I being valued as the man in the head, or I'm being valued as a resource? Because I need to know. Because at this point, I need to know how to navigate.
Yeah. And most men, they being, like I said, both aspects, they either a resource or they the respect. Mm-hmm. And when you have both, you have people that'll fall in love with the resources, but they won't respect you. And that's the worst feeling a man can be in, when you're providing and doing for people, and they fall in love with your hand and not your heart. But what do you got to say to this?
You know, I'm opposed to the term stepdad. I don't know. It just do something to me. But I'm a father, so I did. My wife had a child, before we met, but it's just the way God orchestrate things, because my wife was uniquely for me. Yeah. Like, God created that woman for me. And what I noticed was when we first started dating, she didn't let me meet her daughter. It took a while, actually. I'm like, when you gonna let me meet your daughter? I started asking, you know what I'm saying? And go back to think about it, I should have known then that's a good woman, because she just not bringing her child around, anybody. Strangers, But when I met the child, I knew immediately, like, my spiritual gift, I'm very aware, it's discernment. Mm-hmm. And I seen a child that needed me. Yeah. And that just planted something in my heart, and I just listened to God, and I just went all in with not only my wife, but the child too, man. And believe it or not, man, me and that girl, one thing about, you want to know something about a man, ask his wife about him, ask his kids about him. Yeah. And you'll get answers, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you can call Renaya right now. Yeah. She's gonna tell you I'm her dad. Yeah. Yeah. And you can ask me about Renaya right now, and that's right now, she's my best friend. Yeah. Like, it's my wife, and then it's her. Yeah. That girl helped me through my depression, what we was talking about when we first kicked off the show. Like, she knew I was struggling with it. My wife had told her, and she probably always viewed me as this macho who always just, whoop de whoop. But my daughter is so spiritually inclined. Like, even her minor is religious studies right now. So she's probably going, her goal is to travel the country and spread the gospel, into other countries as well. So, man, she would hit me with Bible scriptures. And one day she hit me and she said, I need you to get up. I need you to get up, get yourself together, shake it all, bro. And through her and my wife, God, bro, that's why I'm here today, bro. Yeah. Like, that girl, Renaya, she's just a special being beyond. Everybody know her about basketball. But man, she is an even better person, human, humanitarian. Like, she know the Bible inside and out. Mm-hmm. She reads different translations. And, I'm just so thankful I had a huge impact, in her life, man. That it's just a beautiful thing. And that's my dog. Yeah. Like, that's my, and as a parent, and she's older, Renaya's 20 now. And my wife had her early. I think my wife might have been pregnant at 15, 14, somewhere around in there. But, man, it's I don't know, man. I kind of get emotional just thinking about the kid, brother. Yeah. She knows she got a hold on me, bro. That just. Yeah, I see you spend a lot of time. Man, it was every day. Man, this is gonna shock a lot of people. Like, when people see this, they be like, "That ain't his biological." Yes, she is my biological. I'm just speaking to the topic, and you can't tell me no different. Yeah. You can't tell her no different. But it's probably gonna shock a lot of people when they see this. Right.
I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, I thought that was your, and I grew. And when I found out, I grew up with her dad. Mm-hmm. He from Pie Shop. Yeah. So it's wild to even know that.
And that situation, man, it could be tough. Like, for me, it wasn't. It was natural, because I'm just who I am naturally. Right. So it was easy for me to navigate you know, her mom and lead them, bro, just out of the goodness of my heart, you know. But that situation, I can see where that situation can be challenging. It's like he said, the mental makeup of both parties is not aligned, you know, because it can be tough. You know, I can think of instances like when I bought my first house. Man, my wife got our first house and we moved in, you know, got it set up, you know, and she would go over and stay at her grandparents' house or whatever, dad's house or whatever you want to call it. And she would come back and act a little different, you know, after the weekend visit. And that would bother me, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm not blaming them. I get it. I can see why they had reservations as to, okay, this girl is moving in the house with this man that I don't know. You know, they don't know me. You know, but over time, that situation, you know, I let God handle that situation. And man, I can call her grandma now. And, you know, we can talk about, it's going to be God. Because she's a very spiritual person. And it's a beautiful situation. Now it was kind of rocky, you know, at one point. But it wasn't to the point where I just wanted to say, you know, I'm going to throw the towel in. I knew that child desperately, you know, needed me at that time. You know, she had been through a lot. My wife had been through a lot, you know, through past relationships. So, you know, and I had been broken. So we were all, God just kind of, where everybody was broken at, everybody, each piece filled that void for everybody. And we was able to move forward collectively as a unit, man. And you can't, like, we so close now. The best feeling in the world for any parents, I don't know if y'all got older kids or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, my oldest, she'll be 22.
The best feeling in the world is when your child is old enough to not want to rock with you no more, but they call you every day. Man, that let you know you did something right, bro. And think about like you when you was in your 20s. Did you try to call your biological dad and all that? You probably wouldn't stay, you know what I'm saying? But man, that thing hit me up it ain't a day go by. We don't talk. And FaceTime.
But you know what I think, and that's the thing about the narrative society paints on dating women with kids, being a stepfather. They give it such a negative connotation. But what you don't realize is healing in those situations.
That was the best thing ever happened to me.
Because when you go into those situations and it says more about you than it says about the situation. Because you can't grow without adversity. You can't grow without, you know, being uncomfortable. And so when you put in these uncomfortable situations and you have to manage different emotions, you have to manage kids that's not yours, it is difficult. I hear a lot of guys, I hear a lot of guys throw in the towel. I hear a lot of guys give up because, but then I think back, and that's why I have a heart for single mothers. I'm like, what if my stepdad had gave up on me? Or what if my dad had gave up on me? You see what I'm saying? What if he had said, you know what? Because my mama wasn't easy to deal with. She wasn't. She had a lot of pain, a lot of bitterness, a lot of resentment, a lot of hatred towards men. You see what I'm saying? And her mouth was reckless. But what if he had to throw in the towel? So it's a purpose where God is in the rehabilitation and restoration business. And when a man sees a woman and he accepts the woman as well as her kids, that's not his. That speaks volumes about that man. Thanks. And the unfortunate part about that is that man may not get the respect while he living. You may have to wait, and thankfully you getting it now. You feel me?
I do, but I get what you're saying. Cause most men, as men, we don't get our flowers. It's unfortunate to most of us are dead and gone.
To be dead and gone.
Because somebody gotta lay law and order. So that it's a high chance you're not gonna be liked all the time.
And that's what I was gonna say. I promise you, I was gonna say, are y'all comfortable with not getting that validation? You know what I mean? From, I'm talking about why you can actually, smell the roses, because most of the time, everything that we get is after the fact. You know what I mean? It's after they get to see things first. Okay, we get to see it. Nah, man, and that, as men, man, I'm kind of like at the point where I'm like, man, nah, I gotta have a woman that's gonna actually cater to me.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you got kids or not.
Yeah.
My whole thing is you
You gonna have 3 wives.
I'm saying no.
I'm just talking, man.
But I'm just saying. I'm saying though. Sometimes, but sometimes
I feel you.
you know, that's why a lot of they might need 3 women to do 3 different things.
Yeah.
But see, I'm not that type of guy. You get what I'm saying? Like I gotta have one. It's in there.
I gotta keep it down.
You know, but I'm gonna keep. But I'm saying though, it's like, my woman has to cater to me, man. Yeah. And that's if any advice I get a man, especially single men, you know, like myself, like, hey man, like, get you a woman that really care about you. Like, really looking to cater to you and take the initiative.
And the most important thing to that, but if you gonna get a woman to cater to you, have a plan for her.
Exactly.
I had a lot of relationships where I didn't have a plan. I was just like,
winging it.
We having fun.
I'm living it. You living it, man. You living it, bro.
I realized how intentional you have to be when you're trying to build something. And if you see a woman that you can have a plan for, and that you can say, hey, baby, we're gonna do, and it's not just talking, it's actually putting the blocks and the pieces in place to show this woman, hey, I got a plan for you. I have a plan for us. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If you can lay out that plan, that's why I be talking to guys, and a lot of men are so unaware. They so in their ego. Mm-hmm. And I be like, bro, they'll tell me a situation they had with that girl, and I be like, bro, you ain't even got no plan for her. Look at what you doing what you doing every day, but you want her to treat you and respect you and this.
It ain't going fast.
She watching, bro. We don't understand how detail oriented women are. They pay attention to everything.
I've been on that.
Even if you think that you getting by, she looking like,
man.
He said he was gonna do this, he didn't do this. He said he was gonna look into this, he didn't look into this. He said he was gonna get this done, he still ain't got done. And they'll remind you, but they're paying attention to your word. They're paying attention to your action. They're paying attention to how do you respond when you say something.
Yep.
Right. When you say you're gonna do something, they're paying attention to all that. So that's a kind of hidden idealistic approach to her when she's dealing with you. Because she watches how you make promises to yourself.
Yeah, you got
facts.
She watching how you treat yourself.
That's real.
You got to be very mindful. And I actually learned that characteristic from my mom and how detailed she was, because she's always told me this. Now, have I always applied that knowledge to my everyday life? No, because I have done things and tried to slide through the cracks and was thinking that everything was cool until it was brought back up. But one thing I learned this from my great grandfather though, when he was just like, you would know the caliber in which a woman view you by how she handled you in your failures. And that was something that stuck out real much to me, because you know, when everything is good, everything is good. Right. You know, but how do you view me when something does fall through? Yeah. Or I need you to step in this element until I can get this element. Yeah. Now, I'm not trying to say that needs to be a long period of time in which you having an issue, but you know, to have a partner is something, it's something completely different. And like you were saying about the elements, that's one of the reasons I had so many women when I was younger, because I had a woman to fill in everything. Because I could never find one to give me everything. Yeah. But I've also had to understand that I was too egotistical to understand that I didn't have what it took to even be that man that you wanted.
You gonna fumble it if you have some real
That's the accountability. Yeah. Man, that's the accountability.
I fumbled some great women in my life, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm lucky to have the people in my life that I have now, because some of the people in my life now that I have, I didn't deserve them. Yeah. And I had to be so realistic and honest with myself. It's like, you know, I looked at, you know, I came up short a lot to take care of everyone else, but in the same breath, there was a decision that I made, so who can I be mad at but myself? Yeah. You know, it's not no woe is me type of deal. It's just like, well, look, you made a conscious decision to do this, and this is what happens from that. Yeah. You know, I had to start saying no. No was my strongest element. I had to learn how to start saying no. I had to learn how to be more selfish with my time, my accessibility. Yeah. And it was just like, you know, I'm at the point now, everybody can't reach me on no phone.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? I screen them, I look at them, I find out what is worth my time.
Ring, boss.
Yeah. So we got to. I had given and poured so much of myself that my cup was empty.
Ain't nobody pouring in you.
Nobody pouring back. Yeah. And the people that I had around that would pour back into me, I was so I was so headstrong that I wouldn't even allow them to help when I needed it the most because I wanted to be the one to get me out of it, but I actually genuinely had people who cared.
And I feel like this is what men got to stop doing. And this is how we're going to get to the promised land. God showed me that I had to stop being so easily offended and taking everything personal.
Oh, yeah.
I had to stop because as soon as you easily offended, you start making reasons in your mind on why this didn't work or why you don't need to do this. Or you start reasoning with the fact that you're right. Because you can find everything in the world to validate your reason for doing something. But when you easily offended, and this is about, when we talk about masculine men, I watched my stepfather. My mom used to be like, "Oh, you piece of shit." And I used to watch him be like, she used to go ham and cheese, right? And he'll sit there. And I'm sitting there like this. She saying that. You know, all his personal business that we shouldn't even been doing. He'll get up, walk upstairs, get his remote, click on the game. He'll literally just start watching the game. And I'm watching him, and I went in there, I said, "Hey, Dad, why you let her talk to you like that? Why you let her talk to you like that? Why you let her say those things to you?" He said, once you understand women, you understand that they should be fine. You have to, he didn't let his ego and his masculinity get in the way of what he was going to do.
Right.
Your way is your way. My way is my way. If you can control what goes on the inside of me, am I not your slave?
No.
Isn't that a form of slavery?
I know how to trigger you. I know what to
Exactly.
make you do what I want you.
So for him, I would literally watch my mom a day later, 2 days later, however long she was mad. She'd walk back upstairs. I cooked some sour berry. Now, it was up to him to let those words dictate or formulate how their relationship was going to go to that thus far. But for him, he was just like, no, I understand that your mom is going to be a little erratic. That was, and I thought that was weak. But in actuality, it was him showing strength.
That's strength.
Because he didn't allow his masculine and his energy. He still was a leader even in his response. He was still a leader even in his emotion. When I'm talking about being easily offended, and I watch me in relationships get offended when a woman raised her voice. I would get easily offended when a woman said something I ain't like. Because I'm like, no, you don't supposed to talk to no man like this. I said, well, look, this is a feminine energy. Sometimes it's a hurricane. And if you can't stand in the midst of the hurricane,
you ain't winning that.
You
ain't winning that argument, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So sometimes as a man, you gotta just be like, it's all about how you feel about your respect. Because sometimes you're gonna get disrespected. That's just that, because when people disrespect you, it says more about them than it does about you. But if you take it like that, and you're taking it as if my pride, it's a lot of guys and they got killed.
That saved my life. That saved my life. I often said that saved my life. Not allowing, me saying, okay, my pride, I'm gonna put that to the side. I'm not finna, why would I get, I remember this guy who used to be fussing all the time, man. We go hoop early in the morning, Dawson days, and he mad, he fussing at people early. And one day I just told him, I said, man, you gotta start praying in the morning before you come in. But I was dead serious. And he was older than me, but I was just like, man, you gotta start praying, man. It's no way you wake up this early in the morning and be that angry. You got other stuff going on. And I remember usually before he just looked at me like, and for a while, he wouldn't argue with me about nothing for a long time. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, a lot of people die because
can't let it go.
Because they have to prove their point. I just have to, and a lot of people die and they lose their life early.
Or lose relationships.
But I'm saying when I say die, it can be relationships, it can be spiritually, it can be in different ways. But a lot of things die because of that, man. And I never really and that's a kudos to my mom. I never would yell at women. When I found myself one time, I remember one situation where when I raised my voice at her, I was like, nah, I definitely gotta get up out of this.
Yeah.
Because that's not how I'm raised, and that's not how I see women. Yeah. It doesn't matter what she's doing. I never raise my voice or curse her out, or anything like that, because that's me. Yeah. My respect, I respect me enough. Yeah. You don't have to respect me. And I don't care if, even if I'm in a situation with, the fellas, because egos get involved, and then you feel like, man, they pumped me, and that was my main thing. You know how that is when I was like, because I could beat you up. Like back then, I'm fighting. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, you want to prove, you like, man, I ain't gonna let nobody pump me now. Yeah. But at the same time, once you understand who you are, and then you understand the God in you, it's like, man, I can't even afford. I'm so calm, but I didn't put so much word inside of me. I didn't spend so much time with God, and I've calmed my spirit is calm.
And if you really trust God, bro, if you really lean on God, He'll convict them so bad.
So bad, they're gonna come to you. And that's what. And I'm gonna say this, to go back to what you were saying, right? With your daughter, with Renaya. Renaya helped you overcome the situations that you had, the depression that you had. She was able to help you. But you know what? So what I heard when you were saying that is the seeds that you sown in her when she was younger, before you even knew who she was, right? When she came around, you respected her mother so much when she came around, and then just like you said, your discernment is high. So even with her, you felt equally yoked to her mom, but you felt equally yoked to her too, because she's connected to her mom. Right. But early on, you sowed them seeds in her. And it's the beauty of God, bro. I'm gonna say this, it's the beauty of God. The seed you sow, that's why you sow good seeds in people. Because one day,
you never know,
that seed gonna do what?
Spring up.
It's gonna spring up. And guess what? It's gonna bear what?
Fruit.
And one day you might be starving, and you can go and eat off the same tree, the same fruit, the same seed that you sown. You can go reach up. Guess what? You don't even have to ask. It's voluntary. That's why she called you. Because
that's real.
Because guess what? Really, all you're doing is eating off what you sown.
That's real.
Dang.
That's real.
You really,
you eating off your harvest.
It's yourself. You get what I'm saying? And that's the beauty, and that's the power of treating.
That's why the Bible said, "Do unto others
as you do unto." And that's the beauty of also accepting. You know what I'm saying? Accepting and being in the right place and having discernment and being equally yoked. And then the other thing, just like I said, I was in a situation with a girl. The girl loved me. She was a great woman, but I knew I wasn't gonna be nothing for her kid. Yeah. I know that sounds, no, bro. That sound, bro. It sounds so crazy, bro. But guess what? I say that no. The kid isn't. No. Let me say this. The kid was a beautiful kid. The kid was great. But what I'm saying is the kid wasn't connecting to me as my spirit. I knew the whole time that I don't really like this kid like that. Yeah. So I had to be honest with myself and just tell her and say, because you know what I say? And I say this because a lot of us men, I'm gonna tell you, to feed our lust, what we do is we don't care about these people kids. I get to go in that room, I knock your mama down, I do whatever I do, and I'm gone.
Yeah. But you respected it.
I respect your mom. I respect you enough, and I respect God. I respect me, and I respect the fact that, man, I'm not gonna be good to. I'm not gonna be a good example to this kid. He ain't gonna be able to see. And then once I see, I'm irritated around this kid.
Wait on that nigga to go to sleep.
You get what I'm saying? And I'm gonna come on. I come when he ain't there, or I come when and that's not right. So at the same point, just like we can say I discern and I can accept. Right. At the same time, you got to know when to walk away from people, and we don't do that as men.
Our flesh.
We don't. We'll choose our flesh over doing the right things.
Or feel sorry for people.
And guess what? As time goes, man, and as life passes, we realize we can't reach up to grab no fruit from no tree because we've sown nothing but bad seeds, and all of them withered away. Every time that storm came, we had nothing to reach up because I didn't sow good seeds in Josh. I didn't sow good seeds in you. I didn't sow good seeds in you, Jay. And the same way with our relationships, from rather kid, no kid, parents. All that, we don't sow good seeds as men, and we don't hold ourselves accountable for that.
Yeah. I think, I'm sorry, you first.
No. Go ahead.
I think just to piggyback off the relationship thing, just as a whole, I think a lot of relationships fail or marriages fail because it's not centered by God.
Yeah, I agree.
And if God is included, you cannot lose.
Yeah.
And people ask me all the time because it's like, it's a lot of pressure for me and my wife sometimes. They think we just the ideal couple. You know, people call, they be like, man, how y'all been doing this so long? My wife is literally my best friend before anything. And I think people take marriage too serious, in my opinion, sometimes. And when I say that, it's just like, me and my wife crack on each other all day. Yeah. That's what we do. From the time we wake up, we just cracking. We just have fun. Yeah. So and sometimes there's been times when we had other couples over. And I remember one of the guys like, man, you talk to your wife like that? I'm like, man, we just playing. That's how we, you know what I'm saying? We crack all day. So I'm like, man, they can't come over here no more. They can't, you know what I'm saying? So it's just one of them things, man. But just put God in it. Once you put God in it, man, you become so selfless. And you're gonna start asking yourself, or as a unit, what does God say about this situation?
Yeah. The word is the
once you put God, once you put God as the mediator, and you wholeheartedly believe in God, you can't miss.
When you said that, it's like, when I started doing that in my business, in my everyday life, my personal life, I started seeing such a change because anything I've ever prayed for, I've been tested in.
Oh, yeah.
If I pray for patience, my patience is going to be tested. I pray for finances, I'm going to have something that's going to challenge my finances. Yeah. When I prayed for discernment, that was a whole nother thing. Like you were saying, planting the seeds. I never planted great seed. That's why I do what I do today. Yeah. This is really, to be transparent, what I work at with these schools and in the community and things like that is to make up for the wrongdoings that I have done coming up.
You gotta right them wrongs.
And it made me understand the fact of, I could tell my children in their face that I'm sorry that I failed you as a father so early in your life. But it gave me a chance also to be the best current version of a dad that I could be for you. Yeah. So these are things that I had to look at myself and reconcile and stuff with. And, you know, that's why I take so much time with these young men and women that I talk to now. Yeah. It's not rushed. It's not it's not a facade or anything. It's like, this is what God called me to do. I didn't have any peace in whatever I did until I started doing this. Yeah. I don't care what it was. When I was in the automotive field as a quality engineer with no degree, I was blessed enough to get to that, but I was not content. I was not happy. Yeah. My spirit was not happy. Then I'm surrounding myself by things that are not progressing me to be the best man possible. Yeah. So I had to find out, what do I need to change? I tried to change everything my way.
Right.
I never asked God for direction.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started asking God for direction, I wasn't really understanding the direction he was taking.
Right.
So it was just like, look, if my mind playing tricks on me, it's God really talk, because I need to know something. I was asking, send me a sign or something, but the signs came in situations and people. The signs came in with me meeting people that I would have never met in certain situations. Right. And it's just like, okay, God, I see you. All I had to do was get out my own way. Right. So the development with that, man, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually was a long road. I'm 38 years old. And I could tell anyone that the degree in which you see yourself is what you're going to project.
That's right.
What you accept is how you view yourself. Who you surround yourself with is who you want to accompany you. Mm-hmm. No one is forcing you to be anything you don't want to be. All you are doing is accepting what has came.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So my biggest thing is that how can I educate myself on not of the world, but of wisdom that can create me to be the best version of myself daily. You ain't got to be perfect. Depending on what your religious belief is, I strongly believe the closest thing to perfection died on the cross. You will never see anything close enough to that. So a person trying to chase perfection is never going to be obtained because it's not obtainable. Yeah. Becoming the best version of you possible is what your goal is to be. That's mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
And I'm going to say this, and we're going to kind of start wrapping it up, but the beauty is in the unknown. You know, I think that's why all the magic happened. In order to become in order to have what you never had, you got to become a person that you've never been. And you have to embrace the unknown. A lot of times people want to control outcomes. That produces stress, that produces anxiety, because you're trying to force an outcome. And spirit doesn't work like that. Spirit is gentle, it's kind, it's patient. And I've learned in my life that I cannot force outcomes. Mm-hmm. If I have a need, if I have something that I really need, the first thing that I always think about is I can't force it. Because if I force it, it's going to create stress, which is going to take me out of that frequency. Mm-hmm. It's going to take me out of the gratitude, the gratefulness, the thankfulness. It's going to take me out of that. I'm going to start focusing on what I don't have, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to start it versus me focusing on what I do have. And that's where gratitude starts. So focus on what you do have. Be thankful for what you do have and realize that you're never going to force an outcome, not with God. Right. Because the way he's going to take you, he's going to teach you and show you and make sure you're equipped enough to handle what comes after you receive what you asked for. So when things happen to me now, I learn if I need $5,000 tomorrow and I get to picking up the phone, hey, Johnny, hey, Sean, hey, UJ, can I get $5,000? No. Now I'm stressed even more. Now I'm looking for plan B, and I'm going to force the $5,000 to come. That's not how God works. Mm-hmm. So when I have a need now, I'm learning that in order to keep stress, anxiety, frustration away from me, is I have to understand that I cannot force outcomes. And once you get that in your mind, you start letting life play out and happen how it's supposed to happen. You stop trying to control everything. You stop letting your ego speak. You stop yelling and fussing and dictating and telling because you think the outcome is going to be better than God. No. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you have to take your hand off of situations and let God teach them, because I promise you the lesson that you think you're going to get him, it's not going to be, it's never going to be, God's lesson is going to be 10 times more valuable. And it's going to hit the target every time. So I say that to say, when we leave this table, man, whatever we struggling with, whatever we dealing with, let's not try to force the outcome. Let's focus on what we do have, increase our gratitude, increase our love, look at what we do have and focus on that. And just be thankful. And watch how God starts to shift and shape the thing that we wanted. The situation will find us. It's a reason why it may take me 6 years to do what it took you 6 months to do. The reason why is not because you may work harder than me, not because you're smarter than me, not because you know more. It's my energy. It's my vibration. It's my attitude of gratitude. Because when I'm vibrating on a high level, when I'm thankful, and I'm operating on this frequency, I don't have to work hard for the situation. The situation will find me. That's how people beat. You have people that's been doing the same thing for 20 years. And you have a person that can come in and condense that in half. Because it's all about where they are spiritually. So, but that concludes the episode. That brings us to an end, man. I thank you, each and every one of you guys, for coming, man. Dropping some gems, man, and being vulnerable with me, man, and sharing your insight and wisdom, your past, your triumphs, and where you are today, your evolution to this point. We touched on a lot of different things, man, and I feel like I got a lot of insight, and I got blessed from each and every one of y'all stories, and everything that y'all said. I feel like I can take something with me and add it to my repertoire of spirituality and my knowledge and my growth from this point on. So I thank you guys for coming. I appreciate y'all. I love each and every last one of y'all. I want to ask. I already did my second time. So I want you guys to share with the people, where can they find you on social media? Where can they find you on Instagram, Facebook, whatever you're doing? I want you to kind of shout out, your life and where people can go kind of look at you. Go ahead.
Y'all can find me on Instagram at UJ Mitchell and Facebook the same, UJ Mitchell.
UJ Mitchell. Okay.
You can find me on Instagram, Young John Jr. You can find me on Facebook, Johnny Williams Jr. And you can also, I'm an artist too, so you can go anywhere, Apple, any of those sites and go John Jr. And find that. And also Big Guard Academy on Instagram too. That's my business.
What's Big Guard Academy?
Big Guard Academy is pretty much a development as far as physically and mentally for kids, really using the sport of basketball. So, and you know, we develop kids and we have an AAU program as well.
That's dope.
Oh, man, that's dope. Well, of course, man, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of that. It'll be SR Motivations. Of course, man, I do motivational speaking. I also have a program called the REACH program that is a mentor development program. Currently, we have been inside of 17 schools, and we currently have a class inside of Jackson Olin on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So, yeah, man, we've been working, and it's been a blessing. I've been connected with some wonderful people, and man, you definitely need to chop it up.
For sure.
Doing the development.
Yeah. Okay, man. Well, again, thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. That concludes the 3rd episode of the Evolution of a Man podcast. We'll see you guys next time.